Hello guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to change the color of a t-shirt. You may be thinking that this is pretty simple, pretty basic, but there is a little bit more nuance to this, especially when you want to change the color of a t-shirt to a white or black color. So by the end of this video you will know how to change the color of a t-shirt into any color that you want. Now for those of you who create thumbnails, this will be a very essential skill that you will need to learn because you will find yourself doing this quite often. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've made a cutout of this image, and what we are going to do today is just change the color of this t-shirt. Now I'm pretty sure you might know how to do that, so let's just run through the steps very quickly. So what we will do is just first make a selection, go to the quick selection tool, and then we are just going to make a selection of the t-shirt. So let's just increase the brush size, and do something like this. Now guys, the quick selection tool will not always get a perfect selection, so there will be an element of you having to go back in and make some adjustments to the selection just to make sure that it looks perfect. But with this selection, let's just go ahead now and press on the adjustment layers and click on hue and saturation, and now we have a hue and saturation adjustment layer. Make sure to add a clipping mask, clipping the hue and saturation adjustment layer to the subject by holding down Alt or Option in between the two layers and clicking like so. And now let's just click back on the hue and saturation adjustment layer, click on colorize, and we can just adjust the color of the t-shirt to any color that we want simply by just dragging the hue slider. We can adjust the saturation, and it's that simple to change the color of a t-shirt. All you need to check for at this point is just zoom into your subject and make sure that the hue and saturation layer mask is affecting all parts of the t-shirt. So as you can see here, we have missed a bit, and that is simply the nature of select subject. Depending on how well it got this selection will be to the extent that you have a nice selection with everything filled. So in this case, we will need to go back in, press B for the brush tool, make sure that the color is set to white, and we will just paint this color back into the parts of the selection which were missed. Let's just go back and zoom out a little bit. We can do it over the edges of the t-shirt, and you get the gist of this, guys. Simply use the white color to paint in the parts which were missed. Okay guys, so now let's focus on how to change the color of a t-shirt to either a white or black color. Now with this, like I mentioned before, there is a little bit of nuance, and so you need to make sure to follow these steps correctly in order to achieve a really good result. So let's just keep this selection going. Let's just simply remove the saturation, and let's just start off from this point. Now when you start off with a dark colored t-shirt, it's very easy to change the color of the t-shirt to a black color. Simply just remove some saturation and just decrease the brightness like so, and there you have a black t-shirt. The problem, and where the problem arises guys, is when you have a light colored t-shirt. So I'm just going to show you how to tackle that situation. So as you can see guys, I have a white t-shirt now, and let me try and take this to a black color, and you will see how hard it actually becomes. So we still have our hue and saturation layer on the t-shirt. Let's now just drag the lightness down because that's what we need to do to make this black. And as you can see, it does become black, but it looks very fake. It doesn't look real. It just looks as if there's a sort of transparent layer put on top of it. And we want to create a realistic effect. So let us go ahead and do that. Let's now create a levels adjustment layer. So let's just go to adjustment layers and click on levels like so. Let's make sure to press Option or Alt in between the two layers to clip this to the subject. And we also need to copy the T-set selection, which is in this mask, and paste it onto this levels adjustment layer. So let's just hold down Alt or Option on the layer mask and drag it up like so in order to duplicate that exact same layer mask. Now any adjustments we make in levels will be affected only to the t-shirt. Now guys, in levels, the left hand side, this arrow right here is the shadows, and on the right hand side you have the highlights. If I drag the shadows more to the right, so let's do that, as you can see the shadows become more stronger. Let's put that back. And alternatively, if I move the highlights more to the left, like so, as you can see the highlights become stronger. So let's just put that back, and the midtones are controlled by the middle arrow. So if I move this more to the left, as you can see, that opens up more space for the highlights, and alternatively if I move it more to the right, the shadows become stronger. Now guys, even at this stage, the levels technique will not work, but I've done this step in advance just to make you understand the process. So as you can see, the process would be to just take the shadows up like so, and as you can see, it starts to increase the shadows. Let's move this even more further to the right, and as you can see, it starts to bring some black into the image. But as you can see, it doesn't do a good enough job. So let's just undo. So what you need to do guys, especially if you have a bright t-shirt, is just click on the subject layer, go to adjustment layers and create a solid color adjustment layer. And we will just select a sort of grayish color. Something like this should do the trick. And again, we need to copy the t-shirt layer mask. So let's just hold down Alt or Option and drag it in like so. Press yes. Perfect. And now we need to change the blending mode to difference. So let's find difference. Perfect. Have difference selected as the blending mode. And now when we go to levels, we can adjust this very easily. Simply just move the shadows up like so. And as you can see now, we are getting a much better result off the bat. Let's just keep going like so. And just increasing the shadows. To the extent in which you increase the shadows is up to you. But if you want to have it look realistic, don't take it all the way to the right. So just take it to somewhere like this. And as you can see, we maintain a lot of the detail in the t-shirt. Now guys, this t-shirt from the get-go had a grainy texture on the t-shirt, which is why you are seeing this grain effect right now. But if you have a plain t-shirt, this effect will come out even better. Okay guys, finally, let's now focus on how to take a dark colored t-shirt and make it white. So off the bat guys, what most people would try to do is they would create a hue and saturation adjustment layer and then just increase the lightness values like so. As you can see, we are increasing the lightness, but the result is absolutely horrendous. This is not the result we are trying to achieve. So what we will need to do is just undo that. Make sure that whatever you have, the saturation is set to 0. And we will now just create a levels adjustment layer. So click on levels. We will now just attach this by just creating a clipping mask, holding Alt or Option. And we will also copy this layer mask into the levels adjustment layer. Click OK, as you can see. And now let's just adjust these sliders. So we are going to bring the midpoint more to the left, and we're also going to do the same things for the highlight slider. So let's just bring this more to the left. Let's maybe increase the blacks ever so slightly to increase some contrast, and just toggle about with these settings until you get the desired result. And as you can see guys, this is looking really good. Let's just keep going to something like this. Now again, this t-shirt had a grainy texture, which is why you are seeing some grain effect, but if you have a clear t-shirt, you will see a better result. So there you have it guys. If you follow the techniques shared in this video, then you should be able to change the color of any of your t-shirts to any color that you want without any hassle. Thank you very much for watching this video, and until next time, peace.